Mike Eppel and I not trying to participate in that. I know, right away, right? I know.
Not happening.
We're very similar. None of that death-defying business.
Yeah,
not
no,
at all.
I don't particularly like roller coasters. I don't like bungee jumping. Coaster is about as far as I go for that. The funny thing is, of course, we track the ups and downs of the market. Tammy, good morning. And most recently, you know what? It's all been up. So everybody kind of gets complacent, shall we say. When we talk about the markets hitting record upon record, it's ho-hum, how nice. It's only when people start losing money that they start really paying attention, because then it gets a little bit more stomach churning. As it is this morning, everything is on an even keel coming into this trading week, because we've got what is being described as a perfect week on Wall Street. Last week, the S&P 500, one of the main benchmarks, set record highs in all 5 trading days. The last time that has happened was 20 years ago. Wall Street saw the Dow hit above the 23,000 mark for the first time ever last week and gained 2% over 5 days. You know, if the market hadn't gone up as much as it already has this week, or this year rather, a 2% gain would really be a standout. Even more so, consider that the benchmark Dow is already up by 17% plus this year. Nasdaq's up better than 20%. So, I mean, what a year it's been so far for 2017 on the U.S. trade. The TSX is on a 6-week winning streak coming in, and another 0.3% gain last week. And also want to mention stocks in Tokyo today rose for the 15th consecutive day, and that is the longest winning streak ever for Japan's benchmark stock index. The catalyst was the weekend re-election of Shinzo Abe as prime minister, and that kind of calms nerves, I suppose, that anything's necessarily going to change dramatically for the Japanese financial markets, and the Japanese yen was down just a little bit as a result. Some bad timing, perhaps. The CEO of the HBC, Jerry Storch, announcing late Friday he is leaving the company, going back to his private management firm. And the timing of this, questionable, considering that we're getting into the busiest shopping time of the year for any of the retailers, the HBC included in that. It's, of course, the parent company of Saks Fifth Avenue and Lord & Taylor. The chairman of the board, Richard Baker, will assume the CEO role on an interim basis while they look for a new candidate. But at the same time, the Bay wasn't giving any specific reasons why Storch was leaving, at least they haven't yet. And some questions whether or not this is a precursor to some job cuts at their German operations. They own Kaufhof retailer in Germany, and they could be looking at a restructuring effort there. So we'll track that stock today. Walmart is expanding its Scan and Go option to another 20 Canadian stores. What this is shoppers are given a handheld scanner. You go through, you basically tabulate pretty much everything you're buying along the way, and you can either pay through a mobile debit or a credit machine, or go to a checkout and go through faster. This is all about speed of the exit, so to speak, through the checkout lines. Because if you go to Walmart, sometimes those lineups are pretty substantial. In the United States, they've got an app for this. They're probably going to bring in the app as well for the Canadian stores in short order. And coming up this week, a big week potentially for your mortgage, as we've got a decision on interest rates due on Wednesday from the Bank of Canada. The expectation is that the central bank will not be changing interest rates this time along, but whether or not they signal an interest rate hike a little bit later this year is a bit of a question. The most recent economic signals maybe point to a moderating Canadian economy, and we've already had 2 interest rate hikes over the course of this year. So that's something to watch. We'll also have the fall fiscal update from Federal Finance Minister Bill Morneau tomorrow afternoon, and maybe a little bit more details about those small business tax reductions, and as well the deficit and debt forecast midway through the fiscal year for the federal government, plus a whole bunch of quarterly earnings updates this week, Tammy, and that's going to be a key to the market performance going forward. We'll send it back to the studio.